let me ask you something. What's the most powerful emotion you can think of? You know, the one that really makes people take action? Is it love? Or maybe it's anger? Our feelings, they pretty much shape everything we do, right? But finding the right words to talk about them, especially in English, can be a little tricky. So think of this as a warm-up. We've got 10 questions that are going to help us explore and share our inner worlds. All right, so to get started, we're going to look at 2 big picture questions. These are all about the concepts behind our emotions. You ready? Let's dive right in. Okay, so let's start with a really big one. Here it is. What do you think is the most powerful emotion that makes people take action, such as love, anger, or sacrifice? Can you give an example from your own experience? Now, to help you build your answer, here are a few ideas. You could think about a huge life change you went through, or, hey, even think about stories from the news or your favorite movies. What was the character's motivation? What was the passion? Or maybe even the fear that drove them to do what they did? We've got some useful words here for you, like motivation, drive, passion, and fear. And a great way to start your sentence is, I believe the strongest emotion is because. All right, let's move on to our next question. This one asks you to kind of look inward at your own process. Here it is. Do you think you are more rational or more emotional when making decisions? Can you give an example? So to think about this one, just consider a recent big decision you had to make. Maybe a purchase or a new job. Did you write out a logical list of pros and cons? That's the rational side. Or did you just trust your gut feeling? That's more emotional. Were you practical or maybe a little impulsive? A great way to start your story is, when I have to decide, I usually... Okay, now we're going to move into the real heart of our discussion. We're going to explore those really specific, powerful memories. You know, the highs and the lows that truly shape who we are. Okay, let's start with a tough one, but an important one. Have you ever felt deeply disappointed or frustrated by something? What happened and how did you deal with the feeling? I think we've all been there, right? Maybe it was a goal you didn't quite reach or a setback that just felt like a huge letdown. The really important thing here is to think about how you managed that feeling. How did you cope with it? And, eventually, how did you overcome it? You can use this sentence starter to help structure your thoughts. I felt frustrated when, to cope with it, Okay, let's switch gears and talk about something positive. Have you ever felt extremely happy or excited? I mean, just ecstatic about something? What was it that made that moment so special? This is the fun one. I want you to think about a celebration, a big achievement, or just some amazing news. That unforgettable milestone. Were you thrilled, overjoyed? The best way to tell this story is with details. Who was there with you? Where were you? Really try to capture that feeling, and you can start with a moment of pure joy for me was when. And now we're going to touch on a more difficult emotion. Have you ever felt extremely angry, offended, or even furious because of someone or something? What caused it? Anger is such a powerful emotion, and a lot of the time it's tied to a feeling of injustice. So for this question, try to think about a time you felt something was just completely unfair. What was the specific trigger? What was that one thing that made you react? Describing the cause is really the key here. And you can use a direct starter like, I was furious because, or what made me so angry was. Okay, let's talk about that really deep feeling of satisfaction. It's a great one. Have you ever felt truly satisfied with an achievement or a decision you made? What was it that made you feel that way? That feeling of satisfaction, it usually comes after a lot of hard work, doesn't it? It's that proud, accomplished, fulfilled feeling. So think about it. Finishing a really tough project, or maybe helping someone out in a way that really mattered. What made that whole experience so rewarding for you? A great way to share that story is to start with, I felt a great sense of satisfaction after I. All right, for the last question in this section, let's reflect on a tough situation. Have you ever felt embarrassed or stressed out in a situation? What happened? And importantly, what did you learn from it? You know, those awkward moments or stressful situations, they can actually be pretty powerful teachers. So the most important part of this question isn't just the negative feeling itself, but what you took away from it. How did you reflect on it? How did it help you grow? This sentence starter is perfect for that. It was stressful when, but I learned that. Okay, for our final part, we're going to turn the mirror inward. These last few questions are all about self-awareness and how understanding our own emotions helps us connect with all the people around us. So let's kick off this final section with a classic debate. Would you prefer to have a higher EQ or a higher IQ? Why? And how do you think either EQ or IQ has helped you or, could help you in your real life? So to put it simply, EQ, that's emotional intelligence, is all about understanding feelings, both your own and other people's. IQ, the intelligence quotient, is more about logic and problem solving. So which one do you think is more valuable for success at work versus, say, success in your personal relationships? There's really no right or wrong answer here, but you can explain your choice by saying, I would prefer a higher because. In my life, okay, let's get a little more personal about EQ. Do you think you are a person with high emotional intelligence? What experience in your life best shows this? So what does high EQ actually look like? Well, think about a time you helped calm a friend down, or maybe resolved a conflict. That's empathy. Or how do you handle your own stress or disappointment? That's self-awareness. The best way to answer this is with a specific story. You could start with, I think I have high EQ because there was a time when I... And for our final discussion question, let's talk about sympathy and how we connect with others. Do you consider yourself a sympathetic person? Or maybe you know someone who is especially sympathetic? I'd love for you to share an example. So what is sympathy, really? It's that feeling of care and concern for someone else's trouble. To answer this, you could talk about yourself, maybe starting with, I try to be sympathetic by. Or you could share a story about someone you know who's a great example of this. You could say something like, my friend is very sympathetic, for example. At the end of the day, sharing our feelings is what really connects us as human beings. These questions, they're really just a starting point, right? A way for you to practice putting your inner world into words. So now your story begins. And I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. If you had to choose just one emotion to describe your hopes for the future, what would it be?
Topicmaster is topic discussion that helps you master English speaking online. Join us!